Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
Oh, we all have a soft spot for those special little creatures in our lives, and if you're within the sound of my voice, that must mean you are in the seats with once more. As always, my name is Dave Voigt, and I'm the host of this podcast where we sit down with a wide-ranging variety of industry professionals and we pick their brain on about current projects, state of the industry, how they got started, and so very much more in a light and in a conversational fashion. And if you like how we do things around here, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that you do because, let's face it, you're listening right now. If you are, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Give us the old 5-star rating. Give us the like on your podcast provider of choice. We're pretty much everywhere over at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google. And plus, we archive every single one of our episodes over at our In the Seats YouTube channel. So please give us a like and subscribe there as well, too. Also, don't hesitate to check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on the TikTok, and we're on the Letterboxd for all sorts of fun updates. And finally, and I do dare say most importantly, please pay us a visit over at In the Seats, intheseats.ca for all the latest and greatest from the world of film, television, basically the moving image at large. Because if we love to watch it and write about it and talk about it, guess what? We love it when you come by and read about it and listen about it. So please pay us a visit. On this episode, we got a fun one. Well, it's an honest one, really. It's one that it's important to sort of admit to because if you're a pet owner, you've always going to have a soft spot for those little creatures in our lives. And I mean, specifically today, we're talking about the film Cat Daddies, which is available on demand now, and it's really a heartwarming story because it's just a collective portrait of 8 unique men whose lives have been changed by their love of their cats. And we see these gentlemen go through some unprecedented challenges, especially considering that a lot of this was 2020, and just how helpful and supportive these feline friends of theirs were. Anyone who's a cat owner, anyone who's a pet owner will really appreciate this film, and we had the unique pleasure of sitting down with the director of the film, Mye Hoang, just to talk about sort of the origin of the story, how it all got together, and just sort of the inspiration therein. And even one of her cats makes an appearance. You'll hear as we talk with Mye. But it was a fun conversation, and I certainly hope you enjoy it because between you and me, I know I did. But check out Cat Daddies on video on demand now because, let's face it, we need a little bit of feel good in our lives, and this one definitely qualifies. But first, enjoy our talk with Mye because between you and me, it is a darn good one. Well, obviously, just first off, just thank you so much for the time today, and congratulations on the movie.
Oh, thank you.
Now, walk me. I've got to know the origin story. Like, what was the inspiration for Cat Daddies to find these guys and follow these stories?
A lot of it, I think maybe was first inspired by my husband and his experience. When we were dating, he was not a cat guy at all. So I saw the before and after, and nobody thought he had it in him. So this was, a surprise. And I think it just goes to show that men have been conditioned to not like cats for so long. And I think there's a lot of men and people in general who don't know that, they could love a cat because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about them. On top of that, I just have, I guess, this weird obsession with guys and cats. And we've been seeing more and more on social media how trendy these like hashtag cat dads and men with cats and things has been trending and kind of like glorified and kind of and men are like owning it now, and I think they're becoming more proud because of social media that they can share their love for the cats. And just always made me happy to see that because I just love seeing guys that can be like their authentic selves. I grew up with a very stern father who I think was unable to show tenderness. And so I think like now when I see it happening, when I see guys, kind of like putting that wall down and being tender to a furry animal is just something that makes me so happy. So I just kind of like wanted to share that. It was really a selfish move and just making something that I would want to see. And I made it for the big screen because I'm a cinephile, and so we took a lot of care in making the movie like in CinemaScope, shooting in 4K, just trying to make it as beautiful as possible. Because I think we don't really get to see kind of like the inner lives of house cats. You don't see them as publicly as dogs.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess walk me through the process of finding your subjects. Like, did you just have to put out a call on social media, or like, was there someone you knew and it sort of evolved from there? Oh, and hello.
Ah, this is
Hey.
Tati. She's
Yeah.
my 18-year-old.
Oh,
She's
beautiful.
she's usually not the social, so it's kind of special that she's like getting involved like this. But there was no casting call. I kind of had some guys in mind already who I was already following them on social media. And so I just kind of reached out to them to get started, and then I kind of needed to fill some holes. So like I needed to geographically kind of diversify. I wanted every guy to have a different occupation. I wanted them to feel different. And the same thing with their cats. I wanted their cats to be different. I knew it was going to be hard to follow 9 subjects in a documentary. So I just thought that was really important. And then David, the homeless man in New York, was just a tip from a woman who had been trying to help him get off the street. And I had already started shooting and I was already cast up, but then she was just like telling me his story, and it just sounded like he was the epitome of a cat guy or a cat dad because he put his cat first, really, and took really good care of his cat. And it was just like you meet him and you just fall in love with him. He has that childlike innocence, and he just seemed like it just seemed like we needed to cast him and make it work somehow. And then we lost some cat dads due to the pandemic because we couldn't travel to them. And then but that seemed okay because David's story got more complicated, and then we were following him a little bit longer. And so that's kind of what happened. It didn't finish the way we started. I'll say that.
Well, most films don't, but I mean,
Yeah, documentaries especially, right?
yeah.
They just go on their own path.
But I mean, walk me through, I guess, your pitch. How did you get all these guys to say yes? Because I mean, I can imagine, somebody getting a call out of the blue, you're a cat dad and I'm a cat fan and I want to follow you with your cat. It's definitely, you need a little bit more than that. Like, what was your pitch to get people to say yes?
So some men actually did say no or didn't respond at all. So I did get a lot of that. But the ones that did respond said yes. And I was a little surprised, but I think that, first of all, I think because I found most of them on social media, they're already kind of open and they're already kind of putting themselves out there anyway, right? So there's that. And then I think maybe just because maybe it helps that I'm a woman and I'm a cat lover, that there's just like kind of this instant trust. But pretty much pitched it as like, I told them about my husband, and I said, I'm kind of obsessed about this. I want to make a movie about it, and I just really want to make it, cinematic. And I just told them, I just really want to film your cat, and I want to hear your story. And I just, this is just a project a labor of love. And I think actually they probably thought initially that this was just gonna be something that would show up on YouTube. I don't know if, I mean, I did explain that I was gonna get it in theaters, but I don't know if anyone took that seriously. So, I mean, it wasn't that much of a pitch. I just think that they liked the idea of the attention and just having beautiful footage of their cat. And I really pitched it as like, I really want to make it beautiful. I want to kind of like immortalize them in a way.
For
In
sure.
a
For
movie,
sure. No, I mean, cats are such adaptable creatures. And I mean, it's just always fun to see them sort of in these environments. But I mean, even particularly in the firehouse environment where this cat, like, no one was training the cat to stay out of the way, but the cat knew when to stay out of the way. Like, I'm kind of curious, as you were sort of jumping from subject to subject, is there anything that surprised you or caught you off guard as you saw these men with their cats in sort of their natural habitats?
Yeah, I think it caught me off guard that they, you know, maybe that I'm trying to think what I was really like I was really surprised about kind of like how much the cats were a form of like therapy for the men, especially in occupational therapy. You have the firehouse and of course and they talk about how the cats were something comforting and something kind of constant in an environment that's always unpredictable and chaotic. But then also like the truck driver too, like I didn't know that they were away from home so long, sometimes 4 months at a time. And so having a pet, having the cat is just something that makes it feel more like home for them. And I'm sure and then it just sort of like I don't know, it just like the cats seem to play a part in everyone's sanity, especially in that year 2020.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I think when when like interacting with other people, there was like risk, involved.
My God, yeah,
And then but what with your pets and with cats there is no risk. So um, I think that caught me off guard a little bit. I think that I think but I think overall I think all the men turned out just to be as wonderful and adorable as I thought going into it. So there wasn't really any kind of shocking surprise or anything. But just the whole pandemic situation happening during filming, was definitely kind of like the thing that caught us off guard the most, I'd say. I mean, obviously you don't plan to have that happen and then you don't plan to be for it to be so disruptive.
for
But
sure.
it is because we also end up having one of our subjects being very immunocompromised. So we were very, very worried about how do we film with him, will we even get to finish filming with him? Will he even make it out of this year?
Hmm.
And it's just sort of like, we set out to make, a heartwarming, feel good, light, funny documentary. And then all of a sudden it gets very serious and it's life or death for one of the subjects.
No, totally. No, you're
So that
absolutely.
definitely caught us off guard.
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, in watching the film, because I mean, obviously, we all know of the conception that men are supposed to have dogs and big rugged dogs, and there is this misconception about why certain people or how you pair people with pets, and like what kind of person is supposed to have what kind of pet. And I mean, there is something beautiful just to see sort of like I think, like you said before, the genuine sort of therapeutic value that the cats serve for some of these guys. And I mean, I'm kind of curious from your perspective, especially now that this is getting out into the film's getting out into the universe. What is your hope for sort of? I mean, I guess maybe the closeted cat dad. I mean, they may be out there. It sounds even silly to say, but I mean, they may be out there. But when it comes to pets and people, I definitely think it's got to be sort of on feel and not on, sort of any sort of preconceived notion. Like, what do you hope people pull away from the film when it comes to sort of appreciating their pets and specifically appreciating their cats?
Yeah, I hope both men and women are proud about it. It's not just men too. Women also, because of the stigma of crazy cat lady, they
Right.
also, there also is some kind of weird shame or embarrassment there. But I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that, that the community grows stronger because and that's partly why I've been getting this movie out in person and so that we can be together on as a community to share our love and celebrate cats. But I think that I've had so many people tell me that, there are people coming to the screenings who do not have a cat. I don't know why they're there, but but they come out telling me how I had no idea cats had different personalities. I had no idea that they could be affectionate and so loyal as you see in the film.
Oh yeah.
And I think you just don't know unless you have one and have that relationship with one. They don't have as much of a public image as dogs do. And also, even just the portrayal in media, because I think it's because it is hard to work with cats on set. Like, I know from firsthand, it's impossible to direct them. They don't take direction very well. And so a lot of times movies and TV shows, they'll cast dogs as the family pet and not cats. And I totally understand that. But then that doesn't give, everyone a clear picture of what it's like to be a cat owner, or what they're really like at home. So I was hoping to like offer a glimpse into that, and into that space. And I've had so many positive reactions about it, just people who just had no idea, and definitely people who are on the fence about it. Definitely changed a lot of people's minds. I hear from so many people who come out of this deciding, okay, I'm gonna give cats a chance. And the community has grown in such a way that now we have, cat cafes and cat lounges, and it's just so important to see a cat kind of comfortable in their own environment rather
Yeah.
than just hiding in a shelter. So yeah, I hope this breaks, a lot of misconceptions, and I hope that we can get, more cats adopted out, and I hope that we can spread the word about TNR, which in and of itself is a very controversial thing, actually. Um, some people are not for it, and I, I hope to open up that discussion and also just educate people about it. Like, there are many actually people who love cats who don't even know much about it, and there's a lot of people who have feral cat problems in their communities, and they don't know what to do. So I hope that this, in an entertaining way and not like an in your face educational way,
Sure, yeah.
helps people understand and also seek more information.
No, and I mean, I think this film really has done that and then some, but it definitely, in a warm way that kind of, hugs you just like the cat sitting on your chest when you're, lying down watching TV. I mean, and having a pet, having a cat is a beautiful thing. And I mean, I think you've created a really fascinating piece of work that gives us a glimpse into the lives of these people and how rewarding it is to have a cat in their lives. But again, just thank you so much for the time and congrats again on the film, man. I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I made it for people like us. I made it for cat people to enjoy. They don't have to see themselves portrayed always as being, kooky and
Right,
weird or something, but just normal people. And the more I go on this journey, the more I love cat people, because they are just the most compassionate, generous people that I've ever met. So you have to be
for sure.
a special kind of person to love a cat, and men especially. Like, I'm instantly friends with cat guys, because I know, okay, this is a special guy, because not just any guy can take care of a cat and love a cat. It takes a lot of patience and gentleness and compassion. So
Absolutely.
I hope we can cultivate more of that.
Oh, amen to that. But I mean, again, just thank you for the time and congrats so much on the film. I can't wait for more people to see it.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks for spreading the word.
And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.